What's up guys, SteezyCollector back with another Marvel Legends action figure review. Got it right this time. This time I've got the Snapshot Spider-Man. Picked this guy up on eBay for 75 Australian dollars. So I think that's about 60 US dollars, which seems to be a pretty damn good price for him. So I did get him with the base and the camera, but they can stay off to the side. I don't really need to show them. Let's just, the main focus is on the figure. So he shares the same mold as the Fierce Sinister 6 Spider-Man, which I also do have, so I'll show a comparison between the two later. This guy is in the nice red and the light blue. It's showing up a bit darker on camera than it really is. It's more of a sky blue with a, sort of looks like not a bit of a wash, it's just a sky blue. Ooh, shit, it's hard to explain. It's just a sky blue and it's a little bit darker than a sky blue, whatever. So, take a look at the head sculpt. Like always, paint on this one is pretty clean for it being a older figure. A little bit of a white speck up here, so that's okay. Really like the look of it. The lines are still nice and clean. Down the back, spider, got a little bit of a paint rub here, a little bit there, but it's not too bad. It can stay pretty covered. And down the back, so that is the back, and here's the front of the figure. So yes, let's get into it. Bunch of amazing sculpt on this guy. He's got his abs. Ab crunch right in the middle there would be cool. I think it would look a little bit better, or would function a little bit better if the ab crunch was up just one more set of abs. He still bends pretty well, but one set higher and I think it would have just been that little bit better. So we've got the spider symbol on the chest. Overall, very classic look. We've got sculpting underneath. Looks like all the muscle underneath there. Looks very good. There. Down the legs, looks like it's stretching over the buff quads that he has going on. That is some crazy muscle sculpt. So yep, down the calves, back to the Spider-Man line sculpting, which is very consistent and very clean over the whole figure. The black lines in there, nice and deep, they look really good. Toe articulation, which is awesome. So, back up to the figure. Articulation on this dude is nothing like you see on the latest Spider-Man figures. Kind of is, kind of isn't. So you've got the head on the ball joint with the disc, so it can look up and down pretty well, side to side. The neck also moves. You can see that in there. Where it really stands out being different is he has those armpit joints, which can actually come all the way out and leave a big hole in there, which looks a little bit funny, but good for posability. Just make sure you get it on the right angle in photos and stuff. But yeah, it's not really meant to come out all that way. It goes to about there before it starts looking funny. You have those butterfly joints in the side there. So yeah, swivel out. Then you have the normal shoulders, which do go a little bit further than that, sorry. There you go. And try not to break it. Have a bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows. You have the cut mid forearm wrist swivel and individual finger articulation, which looks really cool. Which means you can, of course, being mature collectors that we are, can have Spider-Man flipping people off, which I will most likely be doing with every single figure I have that has articulation in the fingers. So you have that diaphragm joint. It's pretty nice. Rock side to side, back and forward. Already showing you the ab crunch. Goes forward that much. Back, pretty damn good. Waist articulation, 360. You have the T-jointed hips, Thank fuck for that. So I prefer these T-jointed hips over the ball-jointed ones any day, especially on these newer Spider-Man figures. The legs only really they don't really go out too much on the new ones, at least not on the ones I have. So you have the thigh swivel, double jointed knees, you have the swivel in the shin, which is pretty pointless. You have your standard swivel in the ankle. You have a slight ankle pivot, doesn't move all too much. Toe articulation, which is really nice for Spider-Man figures. So overall, pretty damn good articulation. Some funky shoulders, which I do like. Gives him a unique look. Makes him stand out on the shelf with those big shoulders. So let's take a look at this guy compared to some other Spider-Man figures. Yes, nailed it. Here he is standing next to the previously mentioned Sinister 6 box set Spider-Man. And I thought these two figures were the same sculpt, but he looks to be standing a little bit taller than him. Obviously they got different chest insignias. Spider-Man, I think, I'm having a close look and they might actually be a little bit different, honestly. Very similar. I always thought, it's actually the first time I've seen them right next to each other, but yeah, I always thought they were the exact same mold. I think it might be slightly different, but very similar. Either way, still two cool Spider-Man figures. Here he is next to the Fearsome Foes box set Spider-Man. Two of my favorite Spider-Men right here. Here he is next to another one of my favorite figures, which I think is pretty underrated. This is the Urban Legends Spider-Man, and apart from being cursed with the eternal thwip hands, he's pretty damn near perfect in my opinion. So definitely a figure that I'm going to recommend to all Spider-Man fans. Good addition to any Spider-Verse collection, so pick him up if you come across him for a good deal, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.